Welcome back. Another episode of our video / technique analysis series with your boy, Squat Dad. One thing that I have noticed, I'm feeling a little spicy today, so I'm going to let it rip here. I have noticed that there is another weightlifting coach in the Instagramosphere who is doing a very similar style of technique analysis. You know her? You probably don't love her. She's like the squat you of the weightlifting side. It's Miss Feet Under Bar, Hands on Bar, Woo Lifts. Miss Woo Lifts. I don't want to be mean to you, but some piece of criticism I'll give you here. Stop doing video analysis of like Lou or Lasha or Toma. Stop doing elite level lifters. It's not helping anyone. You're critiquing and applying some arbitrary standard of movement to people who are at the most elite level. You're telling LeBron James that his footwork on his windmill dunk is wrong. You're telling Usain Bolt that his running form is off. But what you're really doing here is you're using high caliber athletes, big names to drive views to your content to make individuals who may be in the beginner and intermediate space hyper focused on points of the movement that probably don't matter for them. We don't want to keep the bar too close to the body now, do we? Don't want the hips coming up too fast, do we? So yeah, apply those blanket standards across the board, confuse the living shit out of people. That ought to help. That'll put people in the right headspace. Do better. Big following, you can do a lot better. Do what I do. Do a video analysis of people who are in the beginner and intermediate space so that the people who view your content, which are most likely people who don't snatch 170 kilos or clean 210 kilos, like Lou, can actually benefit from it. All right, how about that for a spicy little start? Hope we chop that up into a clip for the gram. Get it shared by the meme accounts, the meme team, led by the hot guy. And we'll see what happens. I predict excellence. Let's get into today's video. So today's video is Gifted Performance's own operations manager, Jake Rosow. You may know him as Dr. Ship Weight. He's been shipping that weight since 1778. The finest DJ in all the land, and he ain't too bad at moving a barbell either. So he submitted his snatch today. One thing you will notice is that courtesy of Squat Deep 7, Mr. Spencer Pingleton, Lenny has himself, or Jake rather, has himself a very nice pair of Addy Stars here. But if you are a cobbler in the Central Florida area, please reach out. The sole broke. All right, let's get into the video. As always, we're going to play it one time through at full speed, and then we will break it down from there. Break it down, break it down. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. God, that's going to be rough. Maybe edit that out, Jake. Spare the people that. Who knows? Cool. All right. Let's run that back from the start. All right, now we can just go frame by frame here. Something that has nothing to do with the lift, but I want to highlight here is the range of emotions that Jake goes through here is very similar to how most people feel during a snatch, right? We start laser focus. Then we get into very serious right here. Gonna fuck this barbell up. And then it's like, hey guys, I'm just happy to be here. I hope things go well. Take a little nap. Emotion's gone. So how should you feel before a snatch? Dead inside? Mean? Happy because it'll be over soon? Right back to dead inside. The 4 emotions of any good snatch. All right, now we can move from here. Let's take a look at the start position where he actually breaks the floor. I mean, right here we can see, his hip crease is probably below the knee, and he's not taking advantage of a dynamic start. So with that, what you're probably going to see is him not getting his shins back fast enough, having to loop the bar around the knees, which is going to slow things down from the knee to the hip, make things a little bit more choppy than it should be, and then feel not so hot at extension. So what can he do here? Instead of having the angle to the hip be like this, we can bring those hips up a little bit, so that the shins move out of the way of the bar faster. Everything else here is pretty good. Shoulder rotation is good. Elbows are pointed out. He's got a good grip width on the bar. He's not super in front of the bar, super behind the bar in his setup. His shoulders appear to be right over the bar, so we like to see that. As we break the floor, kind of as you would predict here, you see that his hips rise up to the point where they kind of should have been. It's a good, powerful position for him. He's not struggling to move the weight here. The shins are moving back. The bar is staying close. So, guys, man, in the video submission series, this is one of the better kind of pulls to the knee that we've seen here. This first pull right here is pretty solid. But what happens is as we cross the knee, let's just stop it right here. Good. Let's just stop right here and admire this. Good position right here. Back angle is solid. Shoulders and hips are rising at the same rate. The bar is close to the body. There's no crazy early arm bend. He's not doing anything weird. Shoulders are in front of the bar, covering up the bar. Very nice. The problem arises when we cross the knee. So when we cross the knee, what happens is we see that the bar isn't getting swept into the hip. You can kind of really see that separation here. Everything else about this is good. Shoulder position's good. His feet are still flat on the ground. He's driving with full foot pressure into the ground. He's using his legs. The only thing that really needs to change right here is that he needs to sweep this bar into the hip. And now we can see where the problem arises. So because that bar is so far out in front of him, he feels that he needs to then bring his hips to the bar. So bring his entire body, at least his lower half, towards the bar to meet it, instead of using his lats and using his upper back to sweep the bar in and then scoop it vertically. So you're going to see something that I've actually never seen someone do before in the snatch, which is that Jake actually picks up his foot. He picks up his left foot here and takes a step forward. I have never in my life seen anyone do that and have a successful lift. So if we're looking at first times, hey, first time I've ever seen this. So silver lining there is a bit of an innovator. Not ideal, but still an innovator in snatch technique. So a lot of that just comes from the fact that there's so much separation between the bar and his legs. Not only does he feel like he has to bring his hips forward and kind of hump the bar out away from him, he's actually picking up his foot to be closer to the bar. So what happens is he moves that forward. Now he's got kind of this staggered stance. And here we see the bar contact is low. And what's going to happen is the bar gets pushed out in front. So in terms of an extended position, this is a pretty solid extended position in relation to everything that happened before it. This is a really solid extension position right here. The bar could be closer, but again, the bar is moving out away from him as a result of kind of what happened as he approached that power position. So again, what are we looking for in this power position here is he's got this slight forward torso inclination. We should see that straightened out. The shoulders should be right over the bar, on top of the bar, I should say. And then we should extend and shrug and pull the arms vertically to keep the bar close. The reason he can't do that is because of how early he brought his hips forward to meet the bar. So again, if we can just keep the feet down here, keep the feet down, sweep that bar in, there's not going to be that urge to take that step forward and bring the hips forward. If I play this at full speed, you can see the kind of like double clutch that we get here too. See that? You can kind of see this double clutch here of good. And then we kind of think about it a little bit too much. Double clutch it, lose any speed that we had on the bar. So Jake actually, surprise, surprise, does better on his snatches from the hang because he doesn't have this crossing the knee issue. Like his high hang snatch, I think, is the same as his 1RM snatch, which just shows that the issue in the lift is right here. All right, we talked about that enough. Again, the extension position here is solid. The bar is out in front a good bit. We know why that is. Easy fix. We're gonna start swooping it in with our lats, keeping it a little closer as we reach the point where we wanna get into this third pull. Put a good job of securing the bar overhead. Obviously, the timing is off. The timing can't be right if the bar is so far out in front of us. So what we really want to see here is when these feet make contact, feet are contacted, 2 or 3 more frames, we should see the bar locked out overhead. If the bar swings out in front of you, you end up having to wait for it to arrive overhead. So how many frames? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I will say with this is locked out overhead. So 15 frames. So it should be somewhere 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5. Again, I don't want to throw out absolutes. I'm not woo lifts. But we do want to see the bar lock out overhead shortly after the feet make contact with the ground, or the feet are back flat on the ground, for all my non-foot movers out there. So we come to here, position, so the arms should be locked out overhead when we get that foot back flat on the ground, or at least shortly after. Again, the bar actually lands in a good spot here. Let me rephrase that. Jake puts the bar in a good spot here. I don't know if it lands there, because if he had just put it where it landed, it probably would have landed like right there. But Jake says, nope. You go where I tell you, bar. And bottom of the squat position. Something that Jake never struggles with. Ankle mobility is ridiculous. Knee mobility is awesome. Overhead strength is developing pretty quickly. So this is a lift that can be saved right here at 115 pounds, which I think is somewhere like 98, 97% of his max. So again, if we fix the trajectory on this bar by cutting out that double clutch and staying patient through extension, we're gonna see this bar stay a lot closer. He's gonna lock it out a lot faster overhead. Another thing to note right here, we can zoom in on that right heel. It is up off the floor. Again, just because the bar is forward, like it's just gonna drag your whole momentum forward. You're gonna jump forward, you're gonna land forward on your toes, you're gonna have to let yourself rock back to your heels, possibility of losing the barbell there. So just some small little efficiency leaks here in the movement that can be corrected over time. One thing that Jake will never struggle with here is standing up that overhead squat. So as he stands up, as he recovers, he gets a little bit forward too. Watch this. Get on the toes a little bit. At heavier weights, if this had been a 100% max or a 103, 105 PR attempt, this might have been a miss because it could have just pulled his entire weight forward. So guys, really let yourself settle here. Stay active on the bar overhead. Focus on standing straight up. Don't let that bar sneak forward or let it pull you forward for that matter. Zoom in on the shirt. Max out, blackout 2. Just had the event. We saw the largest clean, the largest snatch in Mobo history. Saw the biggest total that we've ever seen. Saw the most PRs we've ever seen, most athletes we've ever seen. Stay tuned for Mobo 3 and Mobo International. Good little bar drop right there. from our boy, Swag It Out. Swag It Out. Put a beat over this. Yeah, I did a snatch. It went pretty well, considering the intensity. Something like 98% of my 1 rep max. Man, these videos are fucking getting good. If you have not liked, comment, subscribe by now, I would assume that little dance right there I just did for you, it put you over the edge, right? All right, and that is going to be Jake's snatch. So his points for improvement, we can list them out right here on the screen. We can say number 1 is to reduce that double clutch or pull out that double clutch by keeping our feet flat on the ground, sweeping the bar in, keeping it close as we cross the knee. Second point of improvement is once we do go into that extension position, which Jake already has a very strong extension position, we're going to keep that bar closer. If you have a bar with center knurling, or even if you don't, you need to pretend that your belly button is itchy and you're trying to itch your belly button with that knurling on the bar. That'll keep it close. Remember, we're going to grab some t-shirt on our way up. And last but not least is letting that bar settle when you are at the bottom of the lift and staying active overhead as you stand up so the bar does not drift forward, does not drift back. There's nothing sadder than seeing someone miss a snatch when they start to stand it up. That is a rough way to miss a lift. All right, guys, keep those video submissions coming. You can always find me at @the_Squatfather on Instagram, at Gifted Performance. You can send those videos for your technique review. Snatch, clean and jerk, power snatch, any variations of those that you want to look at, let me have them. I will see you on that next video. In the meantime, in between times, and as always, you know what to do. Stay gifted, my friends. Bye.